Hello everyone, I'm Sadashiv and welcome to Sada Learning Hub. Today's session we are going to learn the most important JSP interview questions. See here in this video I'm going to cover 15 interview questions. The first question is, what are the JSTL SQL tags? The JSTL SQL tags library providing a tags for interacting with the relational databases such as Oracle, MySQL and Microsoft SQL Server like things means RDBMS, such as if you want to connect to the RDBMS systems, definitely we need to write the Java code. If you come to the JSP, no need to write a Java code. We can connect with the databases by using the JSTL SQL tags. The JSTL is providing the some SQL tags. That SQL tags is directly going to interact with the database without need any Java code. The next question is, what are JSTL XML tags? The JSTL XML tags provides a JSP centric way of creating and manipulating an XML documents. See here, if you want to parse or if you want to create or if you want to read any XML document, the JSTL is providing some XML tags to do manipulating your XML documents. The next question is, what is the JSP custom tags? See here, a JSP is providing the so many different tags like standard action tags and JSTL tags and the expression languages and all those things. Each and every tag has a some predefined functionality. If you see that functionality, there is no, it's not possible to do the customization. In that situation, JSP is providing to create a custom tags to write your own code, to write your own functionality in the custom tags. A custom tag is a user-defined JSP language elements. When a JSP page containing the custom tag is translated into the servlet, the tag is converted to the operations on an object called as a tag handler class. The web container then invokes these operations when the JSP page servlets is executed. If you see, if you want to create a custom tag, there is a four minimum four files is needed. The first one is a tag handler class, and next one is a web.xml file, and the third one is a TLD file, and the fourth one is a JSP page. Solid. If you want to create XML tag, custom tag, if you want to create a custom tags, these custom tags is a user defined JSP language elements. When a JSP page containing a custom tags is translated into a servlet, the tag is converted operations and an object called as a tag handler. That is the custom tag. The next one is the next question is, what is the JSP expression language? A JSP expression language makes it possible to easy access application data storage stored in a Java Bean components. In a, if you see, if you want to access your variable, Java variables without expression language, we need to write an expressions into your JSP page. Means if you need to write an expression tag and we need to inside we need to write a Java code. In that situation, there is a Java code need to write. But if you see an expression language, just we can mention into your within the dollar open brace and close brace, we need to specify your expression. Automatically, it is going to evaluate the expression and displays onto the browser. JSP expression language makes it possible to easy access application data stored in a Java Bean components. JSPEL allows you to create expression both arithmetic and logical operations. The next question is, what are the implicit EL objects in JSP? See here, e- everything is fine. You are creating an expression language. We are doing the expression language into your JSP page. But The expression language is given some predefined objects into your JSP page. Whenever you are creating a JSP page, it automatically it creates an implicit objects. A JSP expression language supports implicit objects are page scope object. The page scope object scoped variable for a page level. If you see the page scope object, it is whatever the variables are available into that page, it's possible to access all those variables, all those objects. The next one is request scope. Scope variable from the request scope. If you want to create any object, any variable into a request level, we can use by using the request scope object to access those variables and objects. The next one is session scope. The session scope variable is for the session scope object. Application scope, scoped variable from application level. Next one is the param. The param is the request parameters as a string. Whenever you are sending the parameters into your URL, means we can use the param object. We can read those parameters into your JSP page. Param values, request parameters are collection of strings. The next one is http header http request headers as a string. If you want to send any, if you want to read or if you want to update any http header values, we can use a header http object. The next one is header values. HTTP request headers as a collection of strings. Next one is cookies object. The cookies object, it can be accessed if you want to change any cookies values or if you want any update any cookies values, we can use the cookies object. The next one is page context object. The page context object is a JSP context object for the current page. If you want to access any variables of any data in your page context, we can use the page context as a current page object. The next question is, how can we disable the expression language? See here, by default, if you want to disable an expression language, we can disable using the is ignored attribute of a page directive. If you see, if you want to disable your expression language, we need to use one attribute into our page directive, that is called el ignored attribute. If it is true, expression language expressions are ignored when they appears in the static text or a tag attributes. It is false, expression language expressions are evaluated by the container. If you see el ignore is false, the expression language evaluated by the container. If it is true, the text will be displayed onto your page. The next question is, what type of errors you might encounter in a JSP code. If you see, whenever you are creating your JSP page, whenever you are running your JSP page, frequently we are going to face some errors while displaying your JSP page. If you see, the most popular errors you might encounter into your JSP page, those are checked exceptions. A checked exceptions is an exception that is typically a user errors or a problems that cannot be foreseen by the programmer. For example, if a file is to be opened but the file cannot be found, an exception occurred. These exceptions cannot simply be ignored at the time of compilation. If you see, if you are reading the file, if you are writing your file path, it is not checked at the compile time, it is checked at the runtime. These type of exceptions are called checked exceptions. Next, runtime exceptions. A runtime exception is an exception that occurs that probably could have been avoided by the programmer as opposed to checked exceptions. Runtime exceptions are ignored at the compilation time. If you see null pointer exceptions, null pointer exception is runtime exception. If any variable is null, if you are doing any operation on that particular null values, automatically it gives the null pointer exception, that is the runtime exceptions. That next, errors. These are not exceptions at all, but problems that arise behind the control of a user or with the programmer, errors are typically ignored in your code because you can rarely do anything about the errors. For example, if a stack overflow occurs, an error will arise. They are also ignored at the time of compilation. These are type of or errors. The next question is, in a JSP page, how can we handle runtime exceptions? See, for example, if you see in core Java, if you want to handle the exceptions, we can use the try catch block and we can handle the exceptions. But coming to the JSP page is also providing some exception handling by using the tags. We can use the error page attribute of the page directive to have an uncaught runtime exceptions automatically forwarded to an error processing page. For example, if you want to do like that, we need to make it one attribute, error page attribute in a page directive. Error page is equal to error page.jsp in a page directive. It will be redirected to the browser to the JSP page error.jsp if an uncaught exception is encountered during the request processing within the error.jsp. Will have to indicate that it is an error processing page using the directives. If you see, if you want to handle exception, if you want to do an exception handling into your JSP page, we need to make it a two attributes. We need to know the about the two attributes. The first one is error page attribute into your page directive, and second one is error page attribute in the page directive. We can use these two attributes into your page directive. We can handle exception. We can do exception handling into your JSP page. The next question is, what is the internationalization? Internationalization means enabling a website to providing a different versions of content translated into the visitor's language or a nationality. For example, if you see in our country, there is so many languages are available. If you want to display regional wise or a nationality wise, we can use the internationalization concept. We can display depends upon your nationality and the depends upon your regional by using the by using the concept of internationalization. The next question is, what is localization? A localization means adding the resources to a website to adopt it to a particular geographical or cultural region. For example, Hindi translation of a website. If you want to do Hindi translation of a website, that is called localization. If you see in India, if in India there is so many languages are available, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil. Like that, if you want to do localization means adding a resources to a website to adopt it to be a particular geographical or cultural regions. The next question is, what is a locale? This is a particular cultural or geographical region. It is usually referred to an a language symbols followed by a country symbols which are separated by the underscores. For example, EN underscore US means it represents the English locale for US. Right? The locale means this is a particular cultural or a geographical region. It usually referred to an language symbols followed by the country symbols which are separated by the underscores. For example, EN underscore US. It represents English locale for US. The next question is, what is the difference between these comments? If you see, this is the first comment and this is the second comment. What are the difference between these two comments? If you see these two comments, the first comment is a JSP comment. It is ignored by the JSP engine. If you see, this is the first comment. This comment is a JSP comment. This JSP comment is ignored by the JSP page. If you see in the second comment, this is an HTML comment and it is ignored by the browser. If you see, there is a two comments are available. If you see, these are the two comments. The first comment is ignored by the first comment is an JSP comment. It is ignored by the JSP, and the second comment is an HTML comment, it is ignored by the browser. The next question is JSP technology extensible? Is JSP technology is extensible? Yes, JSP technology is extensible through the development of a custom tags, custom actions, or a custom tags, which is encapsulated in the custom library. If you see, a JSP technology is not restricted, it can be extendable. If you want to create a particular functionality into your, if you want to create a functionality into your tags, we can use a custom tags. We can use the tags into your JSP page. It's not a restricted, it's an extensible. The next question is how do you include a static files within a JSP page? A static resources should always be included using a JSP include directive. If you see, if you want to include a static pages, we can use the include directive. That include directive, it can be used to include a static pages. This way, the inclusions is performed just once during a translation phase. Do not that should always supply the relative URL of the file attribute. Although you can use include static resources using an action, this is not advisable for inclusions it performs for each and every request. If you see, if you want to add a static resources, we can use the include directive, but it is not preferable. Although you also include a static resources using an action tag also. This is not advisable for inclusion, it is performed for each and every request. The next question is, can a JSP page process HTML form data? Can a JSP page process HTML form data? Yes. However, unlike a servlet, are not required to implement a HTTP protocol specific methods like doGet or doPost within your JSP page. You can obtain the data from the form input elements via the request implicit objects within a scriptlet or expression tags. If you see in a JSP, there is a implicit objects are available. We can use the implicit object and we can get the form data. We can do the processing. It's possible to JSP page process an HTML form data also. We can use the implicit objects. We can process the data. The next video I'm going to cover the next 15 questions. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video.
Thank you so much watching this video. Hope this lesson helpful to you. Keep watching our lessons. Keep writing to us. Do not forget subscribe our channel Learning Hub because we have many sessions that would help you to develop our skills and I will be back soon. Till then you take care. Bye bye.